Welcome to Sandwich Seniority. I'm your host, Robbie Haig, and today I am talking with a personality that many of you will know about. His name is Kevin Lasit, and he is not unknown around Sandwich Access TV. Kevin, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Robbie, for having me.
It's my
great
pleasure.
Privilege to be here. Thank you, dear.
And I know quite a bit that you do around here, but I want you to tell everybody yourself.
Sure. Well, long and short, I've been here with my wife and my family now for about 5 years. 5 years this coming September. We moved from California just to kind of reset our life and be closer to nature and the ocean. And,
wonderful.
And
you just have that California look about you, Kevin.
Well, thank you. I don't.
It's good.
Yeah, okay, that was my next question. Well, what is that look? But yeah, there's parts of California, of course, I do miss my family, of course, and friends and whatnot. But we love it here in this community, and that was one of the attractions. Was just the openness to the arts and just nature and being surrounded by beautiful, and then the environment is just so beautiful.
Right.
And my wife, she teaches now at the high school, and I teach acting classes here at this facility. I do a commercial acting class and dramatic acting class.
Very good. And that's where I met you.
Yes, that's
seeing
right.
you here at the studio.
Yeah.
And so you do an acting class here every week?
Yes, I do. And right now I have 2 classes, and it's the dramatic acting for on-camera auditions. Okay. And I basically train actors how to audition for professional jobs that are being casted locally here in the state of Massachusetts. Because of the tax incentives, it's really attracted just so many wonderful opportunities for actors to get work. So I'm happy to say, within the 5 years that I've been teaching, I'm just so proud of my students because I've trained over 2,000 actors now since I've moved here in this state, and a lot of them are working.
Oh, isn't that fantastic?
Very proud of them. Yeah.
Well, it's nice that they're working, but it's also nice that you are working.
Yes, I like to share my gifts and I guess share my passion for storytelling. And for me, storytelling is about connection. So I really love when I teach to connect to other people and just kind of see their humanity and then capture it on camera. And I personally believe anyone can act if they wish to. If they wish to. That's the only secret there. If there is a secret to acting, that would be it. Because my philosophy is everyone can act if they wish to because we're human. Right. So my job is to remind my students that all you have to do on stage or film is to reveal your humanity in front of the audience. So if you want to be an actor, you just make that choice to live in front of an audience. And most people don't think in terms of life that way. They want to live kind of quietly, which is fine. But if you want to be a performer, you got to make that choice to live in front of the camera or an audience.
And it's amazing, not all of us like to be before the camera, which will surprise some of the people out there, but really not all of us do like to be in the forefront.
Yeah, it's, I've been teaching for about 20 years now, and my take on it is you're right, Robbie, everyone has their own take on the camera. Some people, when you bust out the camera, they get very comfortable, and they're like, hey, what's up, call me, and then other people are like,
just panic.
Don't destroy that film, and I don't want to see my picture, please don't post that on Facebook, oh my God, so it just depends, where everyone feels about being photographed. Sure. But if you can get over that, I personally believe everything about you come well equipped as a human being to be captured for the camera. So if you can get out of that head talk and all that negative talk, oh, I look like this, I sound like this, I hate the way my voice sounds. If you can get over that stuff and just own it and embrace everything about your humanity.
You are what you are.
You are what you are, and you got to shine, and that's what people call the charisma, but I call it life light. I think charisma sounds too showy and Hollywood. I call
Right.
it lifelight, and I really believe everyone possesses lifelight, and it's just a matter of turning on that mechanism to just shine, no matter who's watching.
Sure.
Yeah.
Did you also teach while you were in California?
Yes, I did, and through my own business, and I've trained kids and adults, and I also worked for a touring company for 10 years, doing educational theater with Kaiser Permanente, one of the largest HMOs out in California and
Wow.
other states too throughout the nation. And yeah, I love, again, connecting with people and directing and just revealing humanity.
Wonderful.
It's a fun thing.
Well, I recall not too long ago, I mean, a couple of months ago, that you were going to California for something.
Yes. That was about going on 4 years this September. I made contact with Brian Frankus, a producer in Hollywood. He's notably remembered for his amazing work with Field the Dreams, the motion picture.
Oh,
He
yes.
was the executive producer. So long short, I made contact with him, and he fell in love with one of my stories, one of my screenplays. So I've been working with him for about 4 years now, 3.5 years. And it's been an emotional roller coaster the last 3.5 years, because it's been presented to a lot of big directors and companies and
Wow.
studios, and it's being rejected. Yeah, but at least it's being rejected by these high-end directors and studios.
It's been observed.
It's being considered. So, but he reassures me that he's going to try to close a certain deal with a publisher in the UK. They're called
Really?
Comics,
Yeah.
Komixx, and it's a publishing house. It's an imprint of Random House, and so he's been working with them for about a year, trying to negotiate some contracts with trying to adapt them into a novel and picture books. So we're hoping that we can close the deal sometime in May or this summer.
Well, the name sounds to me like it is a comedy.
Actually,
Is it?
this is a fantasy adventure, kind of in the vein of Harry Potter meets Lord of the Rings.
Oh.
It's a fantasy adventure called Wishland.
Ah.
And the theme of it is mortality and how difficult it is to lose people that we love, but they're always with us if we believe. So,
Wow.
kind of a serious
So
drama.
you didn't tell me that you wrote screenplays.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, yeah, yeah. So that's
Now we know.
that's in the hands of Brian, and it
Very
was.
good.
And I did go down to meet him, and I was at his house in the Hollywood Hills for about 6 hours just to have lunch with him and just go over the story. And it was one of the most proud moments as a writer to be
Excellent.
working with him. As someone at my level who's not famous, or I haven't had my first screenplay just hit big time. For me, that meeting with Brian was just such a wonderful moment that I'll never forget. It's a quiet moment that artists
Right.
have, and
Excellent.
And I'm just hoping it gets to the next level.
Just meaningful.
Yeah, it was.
That's very
To be
good.
validated by
To be
someone like him,
validated. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, we have in front of us West Side Story. Talk to
Yes.
me about West Side Story.
Okay, West Side Story. Well, one of the many things that I do here in Sandwich too, I work with my wife at the high school with a show choir called Sandwich Soul, and I recently had the opportunity to direct for the drama program called KTC, which is Knights Theater Company at the high school, and I decided to do West Side Story. So it's a big undertaking. A lot of people are,
big undertaking.
thinking, how are you going to pull West Side Story off? But I chose West Side Story for multiple reasons. One of them was, number one, it's West Side Story.
Right.
I mean, come on,
Come on.
it's a big, beautiful production, and its theme of just acceptance and not being afraid of differences is just so beautiful, and I love that theme.
It never goes out of style.
It doesn't, and it was inspired by the work of William Shakespeare, Romeo and Juliet. So it plays off that Montagues and Capulets theme of two different rival gangs. One's the Jets, and of course the Sharks, and they're afraid of each other because they're different. I have a cast of 65 students.
Wow.
It's a district-wide production, which I'm very proud of. We've got kids from Forestdale, we've got kids from Oak Ridge, the wing school, and of course the high school. And I believe if I've got my numbers right, I have about 40 high school students and 25 7th and 8th graders in the production.
Fantastic.
So picking a production for my first introduction to the community of Sandwich, picking West Side Story was pretty, risky. But I'm all about risk, as you know.
Oh,
I
very
moved
good.
from California 5 years ago.
You're all about risk.
So I
Yeah.
believe if you don't take risks, how are you going to ever find out, if things will turn out the way you wish?
Sure.
So everything so far, knock on wood, is working out in its favor.
Excellent.
Another reason why I picked West Side Story was to increase the male presence in the drama program. And I'll be honest, I didn't know if the males would show up, but thankfully they did. So we can do a show like West Side Story.
Excellent.
And again, the controlling theme of just acceptance and not being afraid of differences is another reason why I picked it. It's great music, it's great acting, and got a great cast.
I went online to hear your little bit about it. There are two ladies on there who have absolutely magnificent voices.
Oh yes, they sound like birds.
Wow.
They're just my angels.
They do not sound like students.
Yeah, well, no, we have Alexandra Wright playing the role of Maria, and she's phenomenal. She's a senior. My heart breaks. I wish I could work with her many, many years, but it's just been a blessing just to work with her in this capacity. She does Maria. I think the other lady you were talking about is Samantha Petraka, who is playing, who is also a senior. Gonna miss her, but so grateful that we have her for this one show. She plays Anita. And we also have a junior by the name of Tom Walsh, who's playing Tony, and Ben Romanelli, who's playing the role of Bernardo. And then we have John Petty playing Riff. So we got a great cast.
Isn't it wonderful?
And the energy is just, everyone's just in it to win it. I'm so proud of the kids. They're working so hard.
Do you think any of them might go on to make this their calling?
That's a great question. My experience with working with young people for many, many years is some will, I think, and I, in my experience with teaching and directing throughout the years, I do have students that are currently out there in the industry and working.
How
None of them are
wonderful.
famous, but they are, making an impact in the industry and making a career, which is what I advocate. Don't go into the business to be famous. Just
Right.
go to work. Getting work
Yes.
is at the end of the day what it's all about. But in this particular cast, I can see several of the students just having a great career in the future. I mean, as you can see by that promo, I mean the maturity of their technique is just really impressive. And then once you see them putting on the acting elements in addition to the singing, because it's just not singing, it's, that's the tricky thing about a West Side Story. We do have great kids that have great voices, but the other element that goes into that storytelling is that sense of theatrics and connecting to the content of the beautiful songs, because if the kids don't transcend to that, it just becomes like a recital, which I'm
Right.
happy to say it's not. The kids,
Absolutely.
they really
And-
put their heart and soul into everything they're saying and singing and dancing.
And there are some people out there who might think that, it's a high school production. But they are going to be absolutely amazed at what this production is all
I think
about.
so. And like I said, Robbie, I'm very proud of the entire cast. I'm proud of the entire, technical crew that's been helping out with the sets. For my first show, I tried to keep things very stylistic and minimalistic because I didn't know what I was walking into, as far as what's accessible and available at the facility. So, if you can think in terms of getting around that creatively, just to tell the story in an impactful way that connects to the audience on the emotional level,
Very good.
Anything's possible.
Now, this is the first one that you've done at the high school?
Yeah, it's my first directorial debut here on the East Coast. I've directed
Wonderful.
shows in California on the West Coast, but this
wow.
is my first one.
Oh, how
And
wonderful.
I'm very proud of it,
Now, the high schools generally have a program a year, do they, here in Sandwich?
I believe they do 2 shows a year, and I know they did
Oh.
a comedy murder mystery in the beginning of the year,
Yes.
and that was with Sue Lynn Home, who's now retired.
Okay.
And then I'm having the amazing opportunity to do, the spring show with my wife.
Yes.
She's the vocal director,
Oh,
and
very
she's
good.
doing a great job with teaching the kids, the placement of their vocal range, the harmonies, and keeping them on task.
Wow.
And we have John Williams, who's a local teacher and a musician. He's the conductor, and Elliot Sicard is our technical director.
Very good. Well, it seems to me that you have done an independent movie already.
Actually, yes. I wanted to direct my own feature film, and I always knew I would. I just didn't realize, everything was staring right in front of me, and I had everything I needed. So one day after my acting class, one of my students, he did such an amazing job with revealing so much authenticity and truth that I said to myself, what am I waiting for? I mean, he needs a showcase. And then I went home that night, and I couldn't sleep, and I just kept thinking, I've got to do something. Woke up the next morning and started writing a little short movie. And by mid-afternoon, I had half of it complete, and within a week, I had 4 drafts. And
Wow.
It's called Back to One, and it's about a washed-up actor who's trying to reconcile with his daughter when he realizes he missed out on the role of a lifetime, the role of a father.
Wow.
And it's a drama about...
It's heavy.
Yeah, it's a drama about choices and, a male that, made his career #1 and didn't have any accountability for his family. And very proud of everyone involved because, again, all my students are involved in the production. I have a cast of over 100 actors.
Wow.
And again, all of them are my acting students. So I kind of consider it like a showcase, if you will, but something that I just captured on film.
Really?
And I just want to present it to the film festivals. I'm going to enter it in the Woods Hole Film Festival this summer, Rhode
Excellent.
Island, and Sonoma's Film Festival next year, and various film festivals throughout the nation. So that's my plan. And
Wonderful.
we're in editing right now, and I'm hoping that we'll be done with editing to hit those deadlines. And it took about 7 months to film.
Really?
And we kind of treated it like weekend warriors. We would come out, and on the weekends, and we didn't stress anyone's schedule out. We kind of just filmed whenever it was conducive to everyone's schedule. And at the end of the day, we had have a beautiful product to
Isn't that
to
wonderful?
show.
There's nothing quite like being casual, is there?
Yeah, and it really
Yeah.
took that stress off, and
Very
we had like a week off or 2 weeks off, and you can kind of recharge your batteries. And of course, if I had the production funds to do it full force, we could have probably knocked it out in 1 month. But there's no rush.
Money does make the world go round.
Yeah.
But like you say, it's not #1.
No, it's
It's
not. Yeah.
actually getting the play done.
Yeah.
So what other things have you done, Kevin?
Oh gosh.
Just a synopsis. I won't hold your feet
Well,
to the fire.
I've always loved storytelling,
Yeah.
and that kind of happened at a very young age. I remember just being in 2nd grade, just acting a fool in class, and my teacher just didn't know what to do with me. God bless her, Miss Array. I remember her name.
Nice.
She was a profound teacher in education, and she knew how to get through to me. And she said one day, Kevin, if you behave, if you listen in class and sit still, at the end of the week, I'll let you do a 2-minute little skit.
Oh my.
And so I was all, what's a skit, And I didn't even realize what I was doing was acting.
Very
And
good.
from that moment on, I just never stopped. And it was because of that framework that she gave
Wow.
me, and guidance and support.
Isn't it amazing? They do say that the teacher who helps you out, you will never forget her.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
you
she was-
haven't.
No, she was a saint. She was
that-
wonderful to kind of see how to work with the student, and that I did have potential. I just needed a different way to kind of understand things and parameters and
Right.
the rules of how to function in a
rules.
classroom, So whenever I'd act like a fool,
Yeah.
she'd say, Kevin, it's not Friday. And then I'd sit down and, oh yeah, that's right, I'm doing a skit on Friday,
Very
even though I had no
nice.
idea what it was.
Yeah, she certainly controlled you.
Yeah. And from there, I got involved with, every high school production, and
Really?
and then got an agent pretty soon out of high school, and I started working pretty quickly in the industry. I've been on. I'm dating myself now. I worked really a lot in the 90s, on national television shows like Midnight Caller with Gary Cole, The Nighthawk.
Wow,
And I did Nash Bridges with Don Johnson, America's Most Wanted. I've done tons of voiceover, commercials, industrials, print work. The last gig that I did in California was for Kingsford Barbecue Charcoal.
Oh.
And I was the Kingsford Latino man. And on the print ads, I was holding a bag of Kingsford charcoal going, haha, yes, barbecues. Yes. But the funny thing is, I'm not Hispanic. I'm Filipino and Hawaiian.
Really?
But because I'm brown, they think, oh yeah, he's Latino.
Oh yeah, sure.
It's a fascinating industry. But hey, it was work, and I got the gig, so I took it.
Excellent.
But yeah, I love the entertainment industry. I'm not rich by any means. I'm not famous, but I'm happy to say I've been able to make a living with my passions.
Wonderful.
And that's one thing that I really try to convey to my students too, is no matter what you choose in the industry, in your life to do,
Right.
there are no guarantees, especially in this economy. There's nothing that's sacred or safe anymore.
Absolutely.
So you might as well do something you love, so you can enjoy your work.
Many of the people I speak with on the Sandwich Seniority show are people who have retired. They did what they needed to do to make money and are now doing what they've always wanted to do and having a lot of fun.
Well, that's wonderful. Well, I got to piggyback on that because I do have several seniors that are in my acting classes, and it's been wonderful to have that generation in my classes, and not that anyone has ambitions to become a star or anything, but again, it's just that ability to step outside your comfort zone and do something you've always wanted to do.
Have
and
fun.
Be around like-minded people and see yourself on the small screen in my acting classes. So,
well, I say very often that seniors are no longer old people.
Yeah.
They were at one time, but long ago.
Yeah.
They are out there doing what they've always wanted to do and being a part of the community.
Yeah, well,
which is great.
I agree with that. For me, I really don't see age at all. I just see humanity. So, I have tons of scenes that, for that demographic, that just reveal so much beautiful, authentic humanity. And my students, they tackle it.
Yeah.
They embrace it,
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, we're hoping that you will have a lot of our seniors coming to your
production
presentation,
Yeah.
your West Side Story.
Well, thank you, Robbie.
And would you like to give the dates that?
I would love to. Yeah, the kids, they open up with West Side Story at the Sandwich High School Theater, May 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 10th and 11th. And the doors open at 6:30, and the show starts approximately around 7 o'clock. Tickets are available at the door, or if they'd like to get tickets in advance, they can email me at kevin@lasit.com, or they can call the high school and ask for Mrs. Lasit, my wife, and she can help them with tickets.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, we certainly wish that it's going to be a fantastic presentation. I'll be there.
Thank you.
And many of us here at Sandwich Access will be there also.
Wonderful.
And we wish you so very well.
Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure talking with you.
Again, thank you. It'll be a show you won't forget. So, thanks.
Wonderful. Thank you for being here. And thank you all for being here. This is your host, Robbie Haig, for Sandwich Seniority, saying I hope you will be around real soon. We'll do this again.